upon one, turn upon ton, they call for war at the rise of the sun.
Well, hello, Vinsters. I've noticed that I've gotten some new subscribers in the past few weeks, so let me just briefly go over the channel. Basically, just my own personal thing. Don't make any money off of it. It's just a bunch of random different things of my life. But also, I do have some kind of shows on there, review sort of shows on movies, so you can check those out. But anyway, what we're talking about today is something really interesting. About a year ago, well, first, before I talk about a year ago, let me talk about years ago. When I was a kid, loved the monkeys, right? Still do. And so what happened is when I was a kid, you get those cassettes. And this is in the '70s. You get a cassette tape, one of those little cassettes, only audio, no video. You could carry them around. They were portable, like a brick. And then you just press play, record. Had the one little microphone, and you could record. Well, cut to when the monkeys are playing their songs on TV, I decide I want to make a mixtape. Back then, there was no such thing as a mixtape, but that's what I wanted to do. So I decided I was only going to record all the songs, or the songs from the shows, not the episodes, just the songs off of the TV when they would come out. And they would come out every, I don't know, they were on the weekends, I think. They were already in reruns by then, syndication. This is probably 70, I want to say around 74, give or take a year or two. Um, and so I did a tape. I made a tape, and it was the Monkees, basically just their hits from the records from the TV show, however, which had different edits. Um, they were sometimes they repeated a phrase that wasn't repeated in the release song. Sometimes they chopped it a little bit. Um, Sometimes they had on the TV show they had alternate takes from what was on the records. Okay, so that was partially one of the reasons why I wanted to record it, because I noticed certain songs like "A Little Bit Me, a Little Bit You" or whatever. When I got the record, it was different. It had different mixing, maybe even a different take. So anyway, cut now to today. Oh, and this tape, I kept on it. I had it for a long time. I kept track of it. I would carried it all over wherever I moved, and eventually I would, I'd put it away and I'd kind of lose track of it, and then I'd discover it when I was cleaning. So, cut to like a year ago. I'm commenting on a monkey's video, a YouTube video, and someone else. And what I basically said was, I just told that story that I used to make tapes when in the '70s, and I've got them somewhere, and they were fun. So then a person commented that oh, they would love to hear the tape. And then of course I said, okay, I'll have to find it. And then what I think I did was looked for it, found it, finally buried probably in a bin somewhere. And then when I found it, what happened was the leader tape had broken off. Now the leader tape on a cassette is basically a blank piece of tape that they put in front of what is going to get played. And so if you think of a reel to reel, like a long tape reel, and you glue that tape, which it has the music, to a blank piece of tape, and it's only like, a few inches long. And then that's just to get it started, so that, because what happens is when it rides through the reel, the tape head is here, but the reel is up here. So if you were to attach the start of the music to the reel, you're going to miss all this bit right here, and you're only going to get what's on the tape head right here on. So they would put some leader, to fill in a few seconds before the music would kick in. Well, the leader tape on this tape broke. So I never got in touch back again with that person. And I just figured, well, it's broke. There's nothing I can do with it. And it's one of those things you just forget about. So then I think about a few weeks ago, out of the blue, my new subscriber says, oh, whatever happened to that Monkees tape? And I thought, oh, yeah, I got to find it again. So I go looking. Again, I had lost track of it. Finally find it again. And then I realized, oh, that's why I never brought it out, was because the leader is broken. It was still broken. So I decided, screw it. I'm now curious to hear this tape again after so long. Like almost 50 years, this tape is. I'm surprised it still plays. It has pretty decent quality for cheap tape Payless tape, mono, off of one tiny little TV speaker, probably like a 3.5, 4 inch speaker or something, and cheap tape recorder, no stereo at all. Now, I decide, okay, I've got to fix this broken splice because the tape is not going to play. It's going to just wrap around itself. And so I tried to get this tape open, and my God, it was just so glued. Now, in the old days, the cheap tapes were glued along the edges, and you'll see, I made a demo reel of how I sort of fixed it, and you'll see that in a second. But yeah, it was all glued all around. Now, later times, as cassettes became more mass produced and whatnot, with better plastic and everything, they started using screws for professional tapes like that musicians would put out. And so they started using screws instead of glue, which was so much better, because every time if any tape you had, the leader broke, you were either screwed and just said, well, that's it with the tape, which most people would do. Or if you decided like me, I'm going to fix it, well, you had to somehow crack that case open. Oftentimes you crack it, not in the seam, it would crack around the seam and a chunk of it would come out. And so they were messy, the old cheap ones. So I decided to take this Monkees tape, which is just the magnetic tape, really is what the music is, not the whole cassette. Take that reel out, which I had done when I was a kid anyway. I've been doing it since I was a teen. And put it into a brand new case, preferably one with screws. I've been getting rid of stuff, and I've been trying to get rid of old cassettes, and I found an old cassette that had the screws, and it was a nice plastic case. And so I said, okay, you're the Frankenstein monster thing I'm going to put the brain into. So I unscrewed it, and well, let's just take a look. So I did it. I fixed it, and now for that subscriber, who I thank greatly, I'm going to present the tape. But before the presentation of the tape, I'm just going to play the tape in a little cassette player. I'm not going to put any graphics or anything over. It's just going to be the player playing the tape. And then, so I'm going to make sure that, the sound is okay. I already checked it. Well, I guess I should just go into getting going with this. Thank you for putting up with this. And again, since this channel is just a bunch of random different stuff, here's something different and random. Now I know what I wanted to say. The tape, I did not edit the tape when I recorded it back then. I just hit play record, let it play the song, then cut. So any changes to the songs you hear are the TV show doing the change. Okay, so if there's different repetitions, different things are cut out, that's not me. That's the TV show. That's what they broadcast. And so that's why it's an interesting tape, because there are some variant versions of the songs on here, along with, like I said, a little bit me, a little bit you is like a different take or a different mix. Same thing with Sometime in the Morning, I think, from what the albums are. So you get to hear what the TV show was playing at the time. 74, 75 was already syndicated. Some of the songs were getting swapped out by then. But you'll get to hear what I recorded back in, say, 74 off of TV, the Monkees TV show. The song's only, it's a half hour. And so here's the setup of the tape. And then we will get into the actual songs and the actual what the tape sounds like. And so here we go. Here's the demo. Okay, so here's the tape that I decided to use to put the Monkees reel in. I'm replacing the old cassette tape cover and putting it in a better cover because the tape broke. So anyway, here's what happened. I've been getting rid of old tapes, so I found one that has screws instead of glued. Now, a lot of the old ones were glued along the edge, and therefore, if the leader broke off, it was, you had to basically bust the thing open, which is what I had to do. In this case, I can take the reel out of the replacement case. This is the old music. This is the music that was in this case. And now all I have to do is screw the case back on. So here's my Monkeys tape reels. As you can see, it's basically like they're like miniature reel-to-reel tapes. And here's the tape, and the other part is the leader, which is just blank. And when it breaks, you can splice them together, but to get to the reels, you have to get into the case. So now, and what I do, just use regular, there you go, they're spliced. I just use Scotch tape. Do a tape on each side, just fold it over, and then trim the edges along the tape there. Just don't cut too far in. But and then there it is. I got the Monkeys reel into the new case, and you got to wrap it around those two black reels, and then make sure that it's in pretty much touching that pad thing in the middle. That is where the magnetic head pushes onto the tape and reads the info. So now all I have to do is screw the screws back in. You see it took 5 screws, one on each corner and one right in the middle, right behind where the tape is going to play. And now we're in. Everything is secure. Splice is fixed. And cassette case is in good shape. And this is one of the better cassette cases. And, oh, who's that fool? Okay, anyway, what I'm showing here is that I was going to do the cover on the tape now, because it has the original band name. So I did a print. I had one sheet of sticky paper, peel and stick paper left, so I printed each side of the cassette cover after I broke it apart. And there you go. See, those are the real ones, and then that's the copy. I just stuck it in the scanner, just scanned them, and now all I have to do is just cut each one out, cut into the label part. I don't need the cassette part, the black outside. So basically, we'll just cut that down and peel off the back and tape it onto the tape. And this guy, I accidentally printed on the wrong side there. That's why I flipped that over. Yeah, I kind of screwed up a couple of things. Here's something else that there I am, jolly cutting my side A and side B covers, if you will. And then I just have to, cut them deeper, cut the holes for the reels, and then tape them on there. So here I am poking the hole for the reel. Basically cut out the middle section around where the reels are, right there like that. I cut pretty fast. Yeah, I sped it up a little bit. And then just take that part off. I cut it kind of sloppy. I don't really care. I have it saved so I can always redo the labels later if I feel like it. I probably will never do that though. And so there. Now this was the side B label, and as you can see, you see that it was from a Payless tape. I'm thinking, again, this had to be about 74, 73, 74, 75 at the latest, 1975, not just random number. Now here's where I screwed up, because you can see right there, that's actually side A, but this is the label for side B. Stop, Vinny, don't do it. Please don't make that mistake. Well, I did make that mistake. I put it on there, rubbed it real good, and then I looked closely and I went, oh shit, I think I put it on the wrong side. Oh well. So then basically I just peeled it right back off again and put it on the other side, and luckily it still stuck pretty good. It didn't. I know sometimes when you tape something over, put the peeled thing over the sticky part on something, and then you have to take it off and put it back on somewhere else, it doesn't stick as good. But this one had pretty good sticking quality, and it was really sleek plastic that I kind of ripped it there a little. But it was kind of sleek plastic, so it didn't really embed itself too harshly the first time I did it. So there I go. I flipped the tape over, and very carefully, this time I'm like, okay, I'm going to get it right this time. And of course I had to make sure it was going to stick good, and so you just kind of rub, and while I was rubbing too, I probably rubbed off some of the the print from the, that's what that black on my finger is. I think it's from the black that got rubbed off of the other label. Because although the other label had a lot of black on it, once I cut it and peeled it, the black ink for some reason was just coming right off like dust. So anyway, there I am, really securing it good and tight, and it's still good. It's still on there real good. So it's, again, it's not like peeling off the edges or anything. It seems to be fine. And there it is, side B. And then here's the side A part. This is the monkey side. The other side didn't have any, I think it just had random nonsense on it, or I don't know. But this was the side of the monkeys. The songs recorded off the TV, literally, speaker, mono, back in 73, 74, somewhere in there. And cheap Payless tape. Again, I had to really tear it apart. It was just, all these old tapes used to be glued along the edge. And so if they broke, the leader broke, you were kind of screwed in trying to get that tape open. These are cheap tapes too, by the way, really cheap tapes. So the plastic was really kind of cheap, rubbery. The other case is nice and secure. But the thing is, these didn't really crack. It was really hard to actually get it apart. I had to get in with like an X-Acto blade and try to scrape into the seam as far down as I could, and then just once I got a little bit of an opening, just get a little small screwdriver, and there it is. So there's the result. There is my Monkeys tape number 17. I think was just, I must have been labeling my tapes with numbers or something when I at a certain point. I don't know why that 17's there. I have other tapes that have other numbers too. So these are my old tapes. Let's hear it.
The king of Zori called for a war, and the king of them he answered. They fashioned their weapons one upon one, turn upon turn, and they called for a war at the rise of the sun. Out went the call to one and to all, that the golden roll like the thunder, trumpets and drums, roar upon roar, roar upon roar, rolling the call of come now to war. Throughout the night they fastened their might, with right on the side of the mighty. They puzzled their minds, man upon man, man
you just did?
Oh, it was 1 minute short.
Mickey, will you give me an intelligent answer, please? This is very important.
I'm reading next week's script. I'm going to try to say this.
Peter, what'd you think about it, hey?
Well, I thought it was all right except for the dueling scene.
What are you talking about? That fencing scene was great. None of you could have done it.
Fencing scene, great. Davey's, short, and I could have done it better.
He's always picking on me because I'm small. He's not short. Stand up, Davey, and show him how tall you are. I am standing up.
Fellas, wait, listen to me, all of you. What I want to know is one thing, seriously now.
That's two things.
What do you really want this show to do for you?
I want to go home.
What are you going to do when you get home?
I'm going to feed my dog. I'm going to take a bath. Going to set my hair.
Why do you ask stuff like this, really? I mean, success and stuff like that. Why don't you ask us stuff like, what time is it?
What time is it, Mike?
It's time to go, man.
Here we come, walk down the street. We get the funniest last fun. Everyone we meet. Hey, hey, we're a monkey. The people say we monkey around. We're too busy singing to put anybody down. We're just trying to be friendly. Come and watch, sing and play. We're the young generation, and we got something to say. Hey, we're the monkeys. You never know where we'll be found. So you better get ready. We may be coming to your town. And I'll meet you at the station. You can be here by 4:30, 'cause I've made your reservation. Don't be slow. No. 'Cause I'm leaving in the morning, and I must see you again. We'll have one more night together, till the morning brings my train and I must go. No. And I don't know if I'm ever coming home. Take the last train to Boston, I'll be waiting at the station. We'll have time for coffee, for later kisses, and a good conversation. No. Take the last train to Boston. Now I must hang up the phone. I can hear you in this noisy railroad station. All alone I'm feeling low. No. And I don't know if I'm ever coming home. Take the last train across the line, I'll meet you at the station. You can be here by 4:30, 'cause I laid your reservation very slow. No. And I don't know if I'm ever coming home. Take the last train Let's can't seem away that she won't come and lose my mind. It's too easy humming songs to a girl in yellow dress. It's been a long time since the party and the room is in a mess. The four kings of Nehemiah sitting stately on the floor. There are birds out on the sidewalk and a ballet at the door. He reminds me of a penguin with few and plastered hair, talcum powder on the letter, and the birthday boy is there. Why don't you cut your hair? Why don't you live up there? Why don't you do what I do, see what I feel when I care? Now they've darkened all the windows and the seats are all the hide. I've been waiting for an hour, I can't find a place to hide. The being known as Wonder is speaking, I believe. It's not easy trying to tell her that I shortly have to leave. Why don't you react me? Why don't you stop and see? Why don't you hate who I hate, kill who I kill to be free?
Young
No heartaches felt, no longer lonely nights of waiting finally won me happiness that's all rolled up in you. And now with you as inspiration, I look toward a destination sunny bright that once before was blue. I have no more than I did before, but now I've got all that I need. For I love you and I know you love me. So take my hand, I'll start my journey, free from all the helpless worry that besets a man who needs a love. More strength is mine when we're together, and with you I know I'll never have to pass the high road for the love. I had no more than I did before, but now I've got all that I need. For I love you and I know you love me. Hey, magic fingers. Oh, pick it, no more than I did before, but now I've got all that I need. For I love you and I know you love me. Yes, I love you and I know you love me. Though you played at love and lost, and sorrows turned your heart to frost, I will melt your heart again. Remember the feeling as a child when you woke up and morning smiled. Each time you felt like you did then. There's just no percentage in remembering the past. It's time you learn to live again at last. Come with me, leave yesterday behind, and take a giant step outside your mind. You stare at me in disbelief and say for you there's no relief, but I swear I'll prove you wrong. Don't sit in your lonely room just staring back in silent gloom. That's not where you belong. I'll take you where the taste of life is green. Every day holds wonders to be seen. Come with me, leave yesterday behind, and take a giant step outside your mind. Outside your mind. All men must have someone who never take advantage of the love bright as the sun. Someone to understand them, and you just may be the one. All men must have someone who never takes for granted all the pleasures and the fun. Someone to stand beside them, and you just may be the one. I saw when you walked by. would never take advantage of a love bright as the sun. Someone to understand them, and you just may be the one. Someone to stand beside them, and you just may be the one.
Make your mark in society. You're using all the tricks that you used on me. You're reading all them high-fashion magazines. The clothes you're wearing, girl, that causing public scenes. Instead of I'm not your stepping stone. I'm not your stepping stone. Just stepping stone. Not just stepping stone. When I first met you, girl, you didn't have no shoes, but now you're walking around like your front page news. You've been awful careful about the friends you choose, but you won't find my name in your book of who's who. I said, I'm not a stepping stone. Oh, girl, not me. I'm not a stepping stone. Oh! Not just stepping stone. I'm not just stepping stone. Not just stepping stone. seem to stray. New places forward, I need a change of scenery. Another Pleasant Valley Sunday, here in Timberland. Another Pleasant Valley
Well, there you have it. That was my Monkeys tape, my mixtape from 1974-ish. Hope you enjoyed it. And by the way, there might be a sequel to this because, excuse me, yes, I did make a second Monkeys tape called New Monkeys Tape. We'll see you next time, Vinsters. Stop doing that!